Yeah, my name is Barbara Plecko and I'm Professor of Pediatrics in Graz in Austria. Working in the scientific committee for EPNS involves being part of the organizational committee for the biennial conferences of the EPNS, which travel across Europe. Like it's changing. This year it will be in Athens, next in Glasgow in 21. And it also involves the research meeting, which is alternating with the international conference of the EPNS. Well, organizing this biannual meeting and really bringing upfront science and new knowledge in the field to a big audience. And this should cover all the fields of child neurology. So we really try to focus on new knowledge, but we also have to cover like inflammatory disorders, stroke in children, what's new in genetics in child neurology, neuromuscular disorders. So it's really scattered over the whole field of child neurology. I think it's very important now because we're dealing with many rare disorders where each center only knows a few patients. But to gain knowledge, you then of course have to network, and it's much easier to network when you know the other person. So the meetings are not only having the front lectures, but also the pause and the opportunity to discuss and meet people. Well, I mean, there is different aspects with new developments. The one is on diagnostics. We have new tools in genetics that make us find diagnosis in patients where so far we never knew the etiology, so the reason of the disease. And about 20% this will also give a specific treatment aspect, while in all cases it will give an answer to the reason and answer to the families why their child is so sick. And so this is in genetics, and then we have very new treatment options, many in neuromuscular disorders. This is the first field to really have licensed gene therapies now. It of course opens new discussion and new challenges, like very expensive drugs on the market now. But for the first time we can switch early lethal diseases into treatable disorders, still maybe with some handicap, but children living a very good life. I think the main motive for science in medicine is really the diseases, and we are working very close to families and to our patients. So I think we are all struck by fates, very severe disorders. And of course it's our ambition to find treatments and to find answers. And nowadays also the self-help groups get very strong, so they do network and bring up very broad knowledge in a quick time, because when you do publications, it takes time to go to IRBs, etc. But the family groups, they have a survey on who is having seizure at what age with this disorder. And they come up with knowledge very quickly. So we interact with the self-help groups a lot. And then I think, of course, to really go for science, you need focus projects on newer aspects, and they can cover treatment aspects, but also diagnostics or understanding pathophysiology, so the mechanisms that really then lead to the brain impairment. The teaching course, like here, has a circle of 3 years. So among this period, all the topics will arise for 2 days. Now it's epilepsy, the next time it's metabolics, the next time it's vascular issues, the next time it's neuro-oncology. So this is for teaching, and it's going along with the training of the fellows. While the scientific conferences, they really have to cover upfront science. So we have to be aware of the new developments, and because the planning period is 1 to 2 years ahead of time, we always, have to think ahead what will be hot topics. Still, there is something new in every field every 2 years, so we always cover the main fields, as I said before. We did 2 days of neurometabolic disorders, so we were teaching faculty of 6 experts, and we brought knowledge about neurometabolic disorders, saying these are genetic disorders that affect the brain and they have a defect in metabolic pathways. So we can have biomarkers, we can test for these in different body fluids, and there is specific treatment for many of these disorders. Like vitamins, for example, you can have a defect in processing vitamins or bringing vitamins to the brain, and you can treat them by simply giving high-dose oral treatment of high-dose vitamins. And this may stop the seizures or may stop the movement disorder. And of course, patients benefit if they get the diagnosis early. So we want to train as many fellows as possible to find these disorders at a very early stage.